video is going to take us to the sandy shores of Lake Michigan. Hi, I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings, and today's video we're going to be planting up a landscape that is planted in virtually beach sand. It's got to be drought tolerant and also deer resistant. There's a lot of deer that usually hang out around the lake shore. So the sand we're planting into is beach sand, but there is a little bit of organic matter mixed in. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. There's going to be some maple leaves, some oak leaves that over time have mixed in. So it's really important that we're amending the soil really well. And we're going to be using the Espoma mushroom compost to do that. That's going to help provide some nutrients for the plants, as well as it's going to hold in just a little bit of moisture for them. Also too, we're kind of keeping deer in mind. Not every plant is deer resistant, but a lot of what we're doing was chosen because it is deer resistant. And as you know, deer resistant does not mean deer proof. Plants that are deer resistant may still be browsed by the deer, but the chances are less likely that they will be. So a lot of mass plantings were going on. We use perennials and shrubs primarily, not to say that there won't be some annuals maybe poked in at a point in time. So we wanted color that would last like all summer long. So a lot of these are repeat bloomers, evergreens, plants with foliage interest beyond just a normal green leaf. So let's go ahead and take a walk through this garden and check out some of the plants that Rod has selected for this space. So as mentioned, drought tolerant is important because of the excellent drainage. Deer resistant is important, and also long blooming were three characteristics of plants that were chosen for this space in the garden. So there's a lot of shrubs, and then there's mass plantings of perennials, which will give that color that should last throughout the summer. So along the garage here, there is a hedgerow of the double play doozy spirea. So double play doozy spirea, these will get about 3 or so foot tall. There's 7 of them planted here, and they're spaced about 3 foot apart or so. So these are a repeat blooming spirea with gorgeous pinkish red blooms. I'd say one of the best reblooming spireas from what we've seen. So that will be really pretty, and I'll just kind of hide the edge of the garage there. Along the property line, there is some of the soft serve gold, Camasiferous. And so those are going to be, they look like Thuja arborvitaes, but they're not. And those are going to be deer resistant options. So evergreen, it's going to have that golden foliage to it. And that should create just kind of a nice backdrop so that the neighbor's parking area is kind of blocked off. Behind the big propane tank, we have a few of the El Nino Chitalpa planted in. And this is kind of a trial to see how these will do. They're blooming right now. They're beautiful blooms. Realistically, they should get 5 or 6 foot tall here. But I think what's going to happen is that they're going to die back to the ground in the winter and then put on new growth. So I don't know if they're going to get quite to their mature height, but I'm hoping we'll see them around at least 4 or 5 foot tall enough that it can reach over top of the propane tank. So we'll be able to see the flowers when they're blooming. There's another one kind of planted there. We've got the brush strokes grass. And those are just massively planted. And the thing I like about the brushstroke grass is it's got a blue, a silver, a pink, rosy kind of color. So a lot of fun colors going on. They blow in the breeze, so they add some motion in. Let's take a closer look here at the foliage because it's so fine, it's hard to see. But you can see there's the shades of all those rosies and silver and blues, and just a nice airy looking native grass for planting here in the sand. In front of that is the new vintage Achillea. This is the rose color, really bright pink. And I love how that bright pink of the flower really is very complementary to the pinks here in this Schizocarium grass. So that was a good pairing that Rod chose, putting those two plants together. One really helps accentuate the other. With Achillea, it should bloom a couple times throughout the summer. We might have to come through and deadhead it to get it to send out more blooms, which is fine. The other nice thing is look at the shades. The newer blooms are a deeper, richer pink, and the older blooms are a faded, soft pink. So we're going to get a little bit of variation of color on these plants. They'll get about 18 to 24 inches tall. So they'll create a nice border along the drive. Continuing on, it transitions to the new vintage terracotta. This is also Achillea or yarrow. And you can see here too, this is a change of a color palette, more of the softer, warm tones, peachy, and you can see how it kind of fades out to a little bit of a lighter peach. There's a few of those in here as well, just to shake the color up a little bit. We did plant one of the dog hobble. This is Paisley Pup. We've never grown this before, so we want to see how this does. It's got great variegated foliage, so that should be pretty cool. Let's take a look at the tag here. It should get 3 to 4 foot tall and 3 to 4 foot wide at maturity. So it'll kind of fill in the corner of this garden nice. And the variegated foliage is always pretty cool because it's an added element in a garden, even if the plant is not in flower. He did a lot of mass planting of lavender. And lavender is going to be deer resistant. It's going to have a nice aroma. Rod's planting it right now. And as he's ruffling the stems and such and the leaves, it's really sending off a beautiful scent. In front of the propane tank, there is Steady Eddie viburnum. There's 3 of them here. Steady Eddie is going to be a long blooming viburnum. Should be blooming in June, July, maybe even August here in West Michigan. It looks a little bit like a hydrangea flower, more of a lace cap looking bloom. Steady Eddie will get 4 to 5 foot tall. And that is something that hopefully will be able to kind of cover up this giant propane tank, also known as the pig. So if we can kind of cover that up a little bit, it'll be good because it's kind of an eyesore right along the side of the garden here. Then he did a mass planting of the summer-long Agastache. So the summer-long Agastache, this is just going to be the most colorful little area in the garden. Now these are a zone 7 plants, so this is a little bit of a trying to extend our zone here a little bit, being the zone 6B. But if these come back, which I anticipate they should, they did at the greenhouse, this is just going to be a very long blooming, very colorful spot here in the garden. So this will be fun. I know at the greenhouse, the yellow was the least hardy of the batch. So there's a chance maybe that one might not come back. But if the rest of them do, man, that's just going to be such a beautiful color. So he did create a little bit of a path going through the center of this garden, just to kind of walk in and be able to see the flowers from a little bit closer. Also, that will give access in if they have to fill the propane tank. But if you're walking on the path, there's also another mass planting between the garage and where I'm standing here of more nepeta and more lavender. So here's a ton of lavender. And actually, let me look behind it. He has another plant tucked in here. There's just like a surprise everywhere. This is a lilac. This is a bloomerang ballet lilac. It has pink blooms in the spring. But being part of that reblooming bloomerang series, it should rebloom throughout the summer. So to date, bloomerang ballet is going to be the strongest rebloomer of the bloomerang series. Along the generator there, he has it edged in Tres Amigos Abelia, which is another plant with that variegated foliage. So that is going to look nice, especially the bright yellow, how that's going to kind of pop in this area. Let's take a look at the height information. So zone 6 to 9, 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. So just kind of a nice little size to edge around the generator. And then in front, there is the Beyond Midnight Caryopteris, which is going to be a great addition to this garden, especially for fall color. And as we're standing here, there's a hummingbird just like, lady, get out of my way. I want to get back to the plants. This is such a vibrant, gorgeous blue. So excited to have these in the garden just to bring some refresh of color in the late season, where a lot of these other plants, they'll be reblooming and we'll have seen them all summer long. But the Caryopteris is just going to bring a new fresh color and fresh blooms to the later in the season time of year. Moving back over here, back to the garage where we kind of started, there is Fizzy Mizzy Itea. These will get great bottle brush, white blooms, fragrant. These will bloom usually May or June here in Michigan. And in the fall, they're going to get the fantastic red and orange foliage. So it's going to have that great fall foliage interest. So kind of a two-for plant there with the flower and the foliage color. And then he has the uptick coreopsis. It looks like he chose one of the 4 varieties that we carried and just did a mass planting of those. This is another long blooming perennial. If it stops blooming, just give it a light trim and it'll continue to send up more buds. We'll see how this does. At home, I cannot grow these in my garden. And it's just, I don't know, different soil conditions. Some plants do well, some plants don't. So we'll see how these do in this very well-drained soil. And then the last plant I just mentioned a little minute ago was the Nepeta. This is cat's pajamas. He did another mass planting of cat's pajamas. And this one too, it blooms all summer long. And if you feel like it stops blooming or not giving you the bloom that you're wanting, just give it a little light trim. And usually within 2 weeks, it's going to be back at blooming again. Look at that. The hummingbird is back on those Caryopteris. Let's see if we can see him there in the distance. He's been bopping back and forth from plant to plant, just enjoying the little space that we've created for him here in the garden. Thank you for walking through the garden with us today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you're new to our channel, we welcome you to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.